So just so you guys know, I like to use all kinds of makeup, from the very cheap drugstore makeup to the really expensive luxury makeup. It really doesn't matter as long as it's good. One of the things that I've always told people over the years was that you can get away with eyeshadows that are really super cheap. You can get away with blush that's super cheap. You can't get away with foundation that's super cheap. The quality difference between high-end foundations and low-end foundations is very vast. There are decent foundations that are drugstore foundations, but the biggest difference, I think, with luxury foundation or luxury powder is that a lot of it tends to be very finely milled. So what happens is you're getting makeup that becomes like your skin's texture. So that's the whole key, right? Is a lot of times you want makeup, people want makeup that looks like their skin. They want to look like they're wearing nothing. So that's actually what you get when you use Chanel foundation. In my opinion, Chanel foundation is the best for mature skin. I have not yet used Jones Road. I have heard that Jones Road is really, really good. There's mixed reviews. But in my opinion, I love the Chanel foundation because it not only gives coverage, but it gives a finish as if it's your skin. So here's what we're going to do. This is the one that I'm using. I am using the Ultra Le Tint Velvet in BD21. Ultra Le Tint Velvet in BD21. I happen to know somebody because I work in the industry, and I was able to get a sample, and you're going to see that I chose a color that looks very light when I first put it on. But the whole thing is that it oxidizes, just as all foundations do. This particular one, I feel, oxidizes a little bit more. So I feel I need to go like 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. Now, when I put it on first, and I'm going to put it on one side of my face, you know that's going to look too light, right? But I know that once it oxidizes, once I blend it out, it's going to be perfect. The whole thing is, I'm also going to be using their bronzer. They have a cream bronzer that I'm obsessed with. So I actually want to use that bronzer and help even everything out afterwards. So because of that, it's okay to go a little bit lighter with the foundation. So I'm going to put it on half of my face so you can see the difference. So as you can see, it is fairly light. Put it on half of my face. And we're going to just spread it out. Once again, I'm not using a foundation brush because I do like the way my fingers blend it out better. Okay, so you can see the coverage is actually really pretty good. It's like a moderate, I wouldn't say heavy coverage. I'd say moderate coverage because it's a very thin layer. And once you blend it out, it really does look like your skin. So now we're going to do the other side. Notice I am going over my eyelids and under my brows, just to smooth everything out. All right, and you can already see that that evened out my complexion really, really well. It does blend into my neck, but my neck is naturally a few shades darker than even my body and my face. So I don't really blend into my neck when I do my face. I want my face to be a little lighter. So you can see it's oxidizing and it is getting darker. You see the difference? When I first put it on, it looked so stark. Now it's really blending in. I bought the Ultra Le Tint powder because this was my favorite powder foundation back when I worked for Chanel 22 years ago. Yes, 22 years ago, I was a makeup artist at Chanel and Macy's, and this was the powder I was using. I love this powder. And I'm going to apply it with the sponge because I find that the sponge gives a little bit more coverage than if you were to use a brush. So I'm going to go right on. And yes, it is going to look light. But once again, remember, we're going to put the bronzer on afterwards. It gives a light coverage too. So you're getting coverage not only from the foundation, but you're also getting it from the powder. All right, so now you can see the color is perfect. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, I also bought Le Beige. It comes in a container like this, and it's a cream. And I don't like to use a brush in the product. I actually scrape it, because if you use a brush, you're getting all the makeup from your face into the brush and into your product. So to keep it clean and to keep it semi-pristine for me, I'm scraping the back of it with my finger, and I'm putting it on my hand, and I'm pushing it down into my hand like that. And then I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to take my 196 slanted flat top brush. I'm going to just go in and go into the edges of my face. So you start at the edges, going into your hairline. And I'm going on my forehead, because I got a big forehead. And you see how that already calmed down the lightness of the foundation, and it helped my forehead recede a little bit. That's the magic of makeup. So I'm going on my cheekbone right here and into my hairline again. Same thing. Take some more. Push it down, because if you don't push it down, it'll kind of ball up and slide right off of your hand. You have to push it into your skin, and then use the brush to really work it in. So same thing, I'm going to go over here, sides of the nose. I'm going to use my close-up mirror, right? Under the eye, on the eye. It's giving like an airbrush finish to the skin. It's really, really nice. So we're going all over with it, pretty much, but I concentrated on certain areas. So that's Complexion. That is a Chanel Complexion right there. Like I said, if you're gonna spend money on any kind of makeup, always, always choose the best complexion products you can find, and then go cheap with your eyeshadows and your blush. Go a little mid-price with your lipsticks, so that way you're not getting bad ingredients. You know, a lot of times the ones like in the dollar stores, a lot of times in the drugstores too, you really have to be careful, because a lot of them are very toxic. If you scan your products with the Yuka app, it's very eye-opening. Even some of the high-end products can be pretty toxic. So when you're eating lipstick and lip gloss and lip stains and whatever you're using, you kind of want to have things that are safe to consume. And when it comes to, say, like if someone has eczema or open rashes on their face or open cuts that you're covering up, those products are going into your bloodstream. So you want to make sure that whatever you use is safe and as clean as possible. If you don't have that problem, then you can probably use whatever's around, like I do. But I used to be very sensitive, and I used to not be able to use all these products. So I know what it's like. Now we're going to go into the mascara for Chanel. I'm going to use a sample that I got, once again. So if you buy things, they'll give you samples. So I got the Le Volume de Chanel, which is their thickening mascara. I'm really excited about this. I used it yesterday, not going to lie, and I loved it. I did find that it really thickened the lashes. So I'm not heating my eyelash curler today. I'm just going to go in. I don't do it all the time. When I'm in the car, I do, because the heater turns on, you know, you can easily turn on your heater and heat the eyelash curler for like 10 seconds. That's what I used to do before work. Oh, love it. Love it, love it. It's such a nice mascara. No clumps. It's pushing my lashes up, and it's lengthening. It is lengthening too, which is nice. And because it's not clumping, it's giving it like a natural look, semi-natural. You know, it is kind of a false lash effect in my opinion, because it's so thickening. Yeah, you see the difference? Without, with. So let's clean up this upper area right here. And I'm going to fix the foundation around the eye once I'm done. This is why you do your eyes last. But of course, I don't follow the rules because I'm stubborn. That made a huge difference already. We're going to take this makeup remover. All right, perfect. So those are the lashes with the mascara. Once again, that is Le Volume de Chanel. Just so you know, the foundation, the Ultra Le Tint Velvet, is $57. And the powder that I showed you in the compact, the BD21, once again, is $70. Now, just so you guys know, if you don't want to buy the powder, want a drugstore dupe for the powder, there is a drugstore dupe. The drugstore, I would say that the closest drugstore dupe to the Chanel powder foundation is the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour hybrid powder foundation. This is the closest dupe to the Chanel powder foundation, okay? It gives a moderate to heavy coverage depending on how you apply it. I would apply this with a brush, okay? I wouldn't use a sponge. The sponge will put on too much. So that's our complexion. I'm going to continue on and do my eyebrows, which of course I love using the Maybelline Unstoppable in Cinnabar. That's my favorite thing to use for brows. And I'm going to go over that with my slanted brush. Blend it out. Okay, there's one brow done. And here's the other. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to do concealer. So for concealer, I'm using the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. You can see that one side is more peach, one side is more yellow. The yellow side I used for the face, the peach side I use for under eye, and I kind of mix it in with the yellow. So I scrape it because it is like clay, as I've said in other videos, and I just go in with my fingertips. That's it. If you want, you have the option to move on to the next video, which is going to be a St. Paddy's Day tutorial. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching.